All right, how we doing, guys? This is Brett from FBA Excel. This is going to be a quick walkthrough of the PPC Dominator tool, the free version. So we're just going to go over the onboarding and then how to import a bulk file and optimize your bids. The onboarding is pretty self-explanatory. You just need to enter your FBA Excel login ID here and then the password that you use to sign up for your website. For the password, make sure it's not all numbers. I've had a few users that we've had issues with, so just include a few letters in your password. You may have to go back through the fbaexcel.com website to redo that if that's the case. The number 3 step there, you need to create just a generic Google Drive folder and then go into it and actually grab this ID like that. Then you'll just go back and paste that in there like that. The authorize one-time authorization, this is just something you just need to do the first time to kind of get started with the system. You'll have already created a Google account. I highly recommend just creating like a dummy FBA Excel Google email and account that you can use with all the tools as opposed to using your personal account, because we do have some permissions and access that we need access to interact with like Google Drive folders and whatnot. So that's just my recommendation. Go to the PPC Dominator down there at the bottom, and then you'll hit allow to just allow all the scripts. All right, and then once you get to there, you'll be able to hit this menu button, and then for subsequent times when you open the file, you won't have to go back through this. You can just click this menu button, and the menu will actually pop up automatically, but if it doesn't, you can always click that, and it'll hopefully reappear. And then if you ever have issues with account authorization, you can always come up here, and once you have your FBA Excel login and password in there, which I have mine hidden right now, just the font color, but you hit that and it runs a quick script, checks on the plan type you have on the website, and then you can see it just returns the account type there. So if we're ever troubleshooting those type of issues with support, just know that that button's there, but hopefully it should work without a hitch. The settings down here, let's just leave those for now, and then I'll come back to them and kind of explain what's going on there. All right, so the bid override table is the sheet where you are actually going to input some bid settings, and these are going to be what governs your recalculated bids, and it'll make a little more sense once we import our initial bulk file, which I'm going to actually do right now. So the video you're watching right now is going to be right here, and whenever that authorize account button, that's only kind of an if needed type of deal. But in order to grab your first bulk file, you're just going to click this button here, and it's actually going to take you to your Amazon Seller Central account. You'll want to make sure before you click that you're actually already logged in, so you can log in and then come back and click that button, and then it's going to actually take you to your campaign manager, and all you'll do is select a date range. I recommend 60 days when you're first getting started. You can run it for maybe a month, and then after that do 30 days from then on, but that's just kind of my recommendation. You'll hit create spreadsheet for download, and it's actually going to download a new bulk file. If you do get an error, sometimes because I'm using just generic URLs to go to your Seller Central pages, it won't add the like metadata and everything after for your actual store. So you need to, like, the error will potentially, let's see if it pops up. Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, so there it is. That's a blank. It's not returning the correct page. So all you need to do is just refresh your bulk operations page. You can just go right there, and you'll see now that you can click on these files, and it's going to ask you where to save them. And there's in the members area, there's going to be a desktop application you can download that you can get your Google Drive folders over here kind of in your favorites bar, and that makes it really handy just to save files. But you'll want to go ahead and save that into a Google Drive folder where you know where it is, and then you'll just go back to your PPC Dominator and go up to actually we need to import the file first, and then the next step is we're just going to use this initialize button, and that's going to kind of do everything automatically for us that we need to get set up. So we'll just go to import. So you'll just grab your bulk file then and do insert new sheet, import data. All right, and depending on how large your sponsored products campaigns sheet is will determine how long that takes to import. If it takes too long, or you have like over 100,000 rows, then this tool is actually not going to work for you. There's going to be some limits. So we've got a pro version, and then we've got more of a agency level Apex version you can look at that's got some performance settings you can use to import larger files, but hopefully your file is small enough to get imported. Then once it's imported, all you need to do is just come up to initialize bulk file and hit that step number 2, and it's going to run a few scripts in the background. It'll take 30 seconds or so here and then give you confirmation when it's done. You'll just go ahead and hit yes there. All right, and then when you get the initialization completed, just hit OK. And then with Google Sheets, you actually want to wait till that says finish script before you go clicking around, or else it may mess some things up. But once you're to this stage, essentially what you're looking at on this one red account level row are the metrics for your entire bulk sheet, which is down here now. They're under a new tab. And you can see we've got some extra rows out here, or columns rather, if you're familiar with the general layout of the bulk sheet, but not too crazy. You've got a column that gives you your single SKU, and these are only going to be visible if you have a single SKU campaign structure set up. If you've got more than one SKU or ASIN in the campaign, then it's going to be blank in this field. And we've actually got a filter there, MultiSKU Targets, that you can use to kind of get an idea where those are. But your conversion rate, cost per click, and then this original bid is going to be your initial bid when you first import your bulk file, and then this will never change. Your optimized red column here is going to be after you've optimized your bids. That's going to be the new value, and then it's actually going to paste over this current max bid. And then we've got a script here that allows you just to upload or create an upload file, save it to your Google Drive, and then you just upload that back to bulk sheets here. So it's pretty, I think, simple and straightforward. What you need to do in between, though, at this stage is actually set up your bid settings. And if we go over to our bid override table, you can see we've got an account level row here, which is essentially going to govern all of the enabled targets in our bulk sheet. And it's going to set our bids based on a ratio calculation of our revenue. So if you go over here, you've got your metrics between these columns right here. So your revenue is the same thing as sales. So if we go down to one with a conversion, so like right here, we take our sales divided by our clicks, so 19.97 divided by 1, and then we're going to multiply that by a goal advertising cost of sale of 0.25. So that's where the calculation is done for you in this system. You've also got a few like lower bid thresholds and max ceilings that you won't bid above. And just keep in mind that these two columns here are going to kind of govern the window of your bids. So any poor converting terms are going to keep going down and down and down until they get to 5 cents, and then they're going to be 5 cents from there on. The 0.75 is kind of an upper cap. So say you're converting on a target really well, and it's saying you could be bidding at $1.25. If you've got this set at 0.75, then it's always going to be 0.75. So if you want to be more aggressive at the kind of overall account level, you'll want to set this and open it up higher than what maybe your max cost per click on any specific target would be in your bulk file, and that's a way you can kind of allow full range of freedom there. Click limit means if you have not got a conversion on a target and you've had over this amount of clicks, then it's going to set it to whatever this setting here, in this case 25 cents. Your impression limit threshold is going to be you have not gotten a conversion and you've not reached 300 impressions yet over the bulk sheet range that you selected from the campaign manager. Then you're going to increment up by a fixed amount, in this case 3 cents. From the previous bid. So it's just going to kind of keep stair-stepping your way up, and the idea is to get more and more impressions to hopefully get a conversion as soon as possible. So pretty simple and straightforward on the free version. It's basically just this account level row governs all of the targets in your bulk file, and you can essentially just set these up how you want them. If you've got a mildly competitive niche where 0.75 seems like a pretty good max bid for you, then feel free to just start with these settings and just see how it works. But you'll just come over here, hit optimize bids, and it's going to say it's going to optimize your bids per this formula. Hit yes. It'll hop you back over to the bulk sheet, and you'll see it's going to paste some values here in this cell, and then it's going to overwrite the max bid columns with those same values. So you can see 20 cents, 20 cents. In this case, you can tell it went up by the 3 cents because we haven't hit our impressions. So that's in general how the tool works. Now, where we can get a little bit fancier though is we've got room down here underneath to add specific targets that we want to rank better for and just be more aggressive in our bidding. So in order to illustrate that, obviously you can just copy your SKU here and put targets manually, but another nice feature you can use is if you use the Keyword Dominator tool, we've got a rank target column here. So if you don't know how to use the Keyword Dominator tool, you can go back and watch some of the training on that. We do have a free version of that, which is actually the one I'm in right now. But this rank column I'm talking about here, you'll effectively, once you determine your target keyword list, number the specific targets that you want to run in your PPC campaigns and bid more aggressively for. So in this case, I've got them numbered 1 through 15. You are going to need to know the SKU of kind of the ASIN that you're working with in your Keyword Dominator file. So in this case, that's kind of the ASIN. I've copied over the SKU, but you may need to grab this from Campaign Manager, and you'll just copy that for after when you run this script here. It's going to ask you where to put it, but actually you need to make sure you've got a Google Drive folder set up here. So let me just put it here in the same one, and you'll just copy that. All right, and then all you'll do is when you're ready to save a file, you can go Keyword Dominator, save PPC Dominator file, and paste that guy there, hit OK. And you'll see all it's doing, it's creating just a spreadsheet that's saving the data that we're then going to import into PPC Dominator. All right, and I'll hit OK, and then you're good to go there. Now you can go back here, and the idea is you would have multiple Keyword Dominator files potentially for each product, and you can periodically go in and determine, you know, your set of target keywords, and then you'll come in and just do File, Import. Then you'll find that file under this folder here. So there it is. You just double click, and then you'll hit Replace Data at Selected Cell. You want to make sure you're here in the SKU column, and then it will import. And you can see these turn yellow because you don't have any bid settings set for them yet. But the idea is you can set more aggressive settings for these. So maybe you do 0.05. Maybe you give these targets more room to bid because you want to be more aggressive. So I'll do $1.25, and we can set these others pretty well the same. So 0.25, 300, 0.03, 0.2. All right, and then we can just drag these down. And then what you'll want to do is anytime you import a set of targets into the kind of override section down here, you can come up and hit bid override, sync metrics, and it's going to look at your bulk file. And if you are currently running PPC on these targets, it's going to bring in the metrics like this. So the idea is you can use these to get an idea of what maybe you want to set here for your targets. If you've got one that's a really low ACOS, you can be more aggressive, bump up your target ACOS, you know, stuff like that. But the other thing I'll mention here too is there is a bid override column, and this is going to be a fixed bid override on any of these targets. You wouldn't probably ever use it for your account level because that would set every target to that specific number. But you potentially could use it if you want to, for example, stay top of search for a specific target. Then you can set this at a high enough number that's going to stay well above your average cost per click and just try to target that top of search. Obviously, there's different placement percentages and stuff like that, but that's a generic way of trying to target top of search. The other thing you can do too is a little more advanced. You can kind of create your own custom formulas in this column based on the metrics over here if you know how to write your own formulas. So, but the idea is the targets underneath the account level row, they will actually take the upper level precedence over any of the bid settings, which the only other bid setting in this tool is actually your account level row. So it goes targets down here, and then it's going to fall back to this account level bid setting here for all of the targets in your bulk sheet. So pretty simple, straightforward. The Pro version has another layer where you can actually bid by SKU. So if you've got some of your campaigns segmented out with one SKU in each one, then it makes sense to look at the economics of each product and assign similar values like this, but it's going to be at the SKU level. And then same deal, but your order of precedence then is your targets on the bid override table take upper level precedence. Then it hops over to your SKU dashboard for those SKU level settings, and then it actually comes back for the account row here as the kind of fallback for any of the targets that weren't met by the other criteria. And one of the ones too that a lot of people forget that is going to fall back to the account level a lot of times are going to be multi-SKU campaign targets. So if you've dumped a few SKUs into one campaign because they're similar, the metrics won't actually reel up to the ASIN accurately, so you're not able to bid at the SKU level for those. You actually have to bid at the account level for those. But a little more probably info than needed in this video. So the idea is once you have these set to your liking, you can hop up here and just hit optimize bids, and it's going to use then the new settings you've allocated here for the specific targets to override what we previously had set at the account level. You can also hit this plus here, and it's going to show you your keyword dominator data in case you want to be more aggressive, for example, on higher search volume targets, or maybe you've got some that your organic rank is a certain number and you want to set some criteria based on that. There's a lot of different opportunities there. So the other few filters here I'll just breeze over real quick are your top targets, top CVR, top placements, and poor performers. Essentially, they are going to be set with these inputs right here. These are some generic good kind of inputs to start with. And the idea is you can just kind of come in here, and if you hit the top targets, it's going to identify effectively what the criteria is set here. And if you select, for example, your poor performers, we'll hop back over to the bulk sheet, and it's going to show you what meets that poor performer criteria. You can see here this short list has no orders, and a lot of them are getting flagged for either the spend or the click threshold. So right up here, spend and click threshold, that's what's triggering those. And the idea here is you've got three kind of status columns. You got your campaign status, ad group status, or keyword target status. You can actually just pause these at the keyword status if they're ones that you don't want to continue bidding on, if they're just not performing well. So you can just go like that. And then once you obviously optimize your bids and create your upload file, the next time you upload them, those are going to all be paused. So that's how that works. Other things you have here are you can do review bid changes. That's just going to give you a short list similar to this, where it's going to identify all of the targets that have changed from the original bid to the optimized bid. So it's pretty handy to do after you click the optimized bid script there. Other than that, that's about it. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Your multi-SKU targets, that's going to show you, if we click that, all of your active targets that you don't have in single SKU campaigns. You'll notice that this column right here is blank, and we're still bidding on some targets here. And these are going to, again, fall back typically to the account level row in your bid override table for the settings. So this may be something if you only have like a low bid auto campaign where you've been testing multi-SKU campaigns, you can do as a last phase where you tweak them manually or something like that. But just know that that's there. The bid override, we went over that sync metrics. The labs tab, it's pretty basic in this free version, but effectively you can put a list of campaigns here, and you'll come up here and just hit labs, campaign quick sort, and you can either show in your bulk file all of those campaigns in that list, or you can show all of the campaigns that are not in that list. So that could be handy for maybe you want to redo some of your portfolio IDs, and this is what this is for here, just as a reference. Or maybe you want to increase your campaign budget for certain campaigns. You can kind of save preset lists of campaigns and just paste those in there real quick and use that filter to filter your bulk sheet for those. So Hopefully this video gives a general understanding now of the free version and how you can just go through and optimize your bids on a daily basis. The last step, obviously, after you hit the optimized bids, after assigning all your bid settings, you'll just hit create upload file, hit yes, and then this is going to create a formatted bulk file and save it to your Google Drive folder that you've specified on the settings tab. And then it's just going to save it there in your Drive file, so you can go over to Campaign Manager and upload it. So I'll show you how to do that really quick. All right, you'll get a prompt there. Just hit OK. And since I already had it open, you can go back here and just hit choose file, and then you'll go and find the file and just upload it. And I think once you click on the file, you have to click this button one more time to upload it, and then you'll see down here in your history of uploads, once it's done, how many rows were successfully finished, stuff like that. So all right, hopefully that does the tool justice and get you guys started. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out over on the website. Be happy to help. Thanks.